Welcome back, race fans, to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. Today, we're at the virtual Silverstone circuit. We got an action-packed feature event followed by the sprint. As always, my name is James East. Bring the action 1080p 60 frames a second on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. And let's go ahead and run it through tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Nick Peterson. Raymond Aguilar starts second. Micah Barnett starting third. Jake Duckwall starts fourth. Nick Beaver starting fifth. Frankie Francica starting 6th. Jared Ziegler starts 7th. John Kasai starting 8th. Peter Rettinger starts 9th. Jay Small starting 10th. Antonio Bianchi starts 11th. Michael Fairchild starting 12th here today. You've got Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting 13th. Hashim Hamoud starts 14th. Xavier Zanave starting 15th. Norman King starts 16th on the grid. You've also got Michael Scott starting 17th. Felipe Garcia starting 18th. Levi Opitz starts 19th. Felipe Ramos starts 20th. David Tamira starts 21st. Stephen Hill starting 22nd to round out the grid here today. And let's get ready to go racing. 20 laps or 45 minutes, whatever comes first in the feature event. As we're waiting for a few more drivers to make their way out onto the grid, we're waiting on Frankie Francica, Michael Fairchild, Felipe Ramos, David Tamira, all waiting to line up. We've got our good friend, Finley Fitzsimmons, joining us in the spectator area, talking about his gourmet meal plans for Still waiting on Francica in the 98 machine, as well as David Tamira in the number 14. Everybody else has been able to grid so far. And I think that we're going to see those two drivers starting from pit road as Nick Peterson and Raymond Aguilar on the front. Get ready to go. Here we go. Aguilar with a great launch in the 72 machine picks up the whole shot. As it looks to me like turn one relatively smooth here. It's Aguilar, Peterson, Barnett, Beaver, and Ziegler are your top 5. As always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor. If not, they usually go back and watch it afterwards. But we got somebody off track. Looks like it's Jake Duckwall. And the number 99 machine has an off-track excursion here. Gets the point in the right back direction. And then Antonio Bianchi also off track in the number 17 machine. So already drivers having some issues. Gareth McAllister finds himself through the gravel. And things are getting excited early on here at Silverstone. Bill Aguilar, Peterson, Barnett, your top 3. Frankie Francica does make his way to pit road after missing the start. A little bit further back to Bianchi, who's linked up with Norman King just ahead behind them. You've got Felipe Garcia, John Kasai, Felipe Ramos. And a whole lot of side-by-side action here. That's Garcia, Ramos, King running 13th, 14th, and 15th. As up ahead of them, looks like that, interesting enough, John Kasai's come down pit road. He must have had some sort of damage on that number 3 machine. As we go back up front to Aguilar. Aguilar holding about a 4/10 second advantage over Peterson. You see a little bit of micro lockup out of that front left of the number 72 machine. As Nick Peterson, number 24, your pole setter, in hot pursuit, taking a look to the inside line. But Aguilar defends heavily on the inside. Good to see these two battling so intently here together. Aguilar was one of the most winningest drivers last season. And it looks like the pace is kind of wicked up across the field. You've got the top 5 drivers all within a second of each other here. Aguilar, Peterson, Barnett, Beaver, and Ziegler running 1st through 5th. And you can see this nice and tidy pack here as we're focused in on Nick Peterson. Let's take a little bit further back. There's Micah Barnett, the number 59 machine. You can also see Chase Small slightly in the background there, number 5 machine. Not quite able to catch the draft of this lead pack. Very impressed just how tight these guys are running nose to tail. Wing the gearbox. I think I heard a bit of a misshift there from one of the drivers. That's going to be interesting to see if Chase Small can close the gap. As Jared Ziegler at the tail end of his top 5 clicks off the fastest lap of the race, all 1:53.25. Ziegler up 2 spots from where he qualified here for the feature event. Starting to make some strides in a forward direction. As now the top 5 is stretched out ever so slightly. Jared Ziegler running 5th is about 1.5 seconds back from Raymond Aguilar, your race leader. Every time these guys get a bit of a straight, that gap closes back up. The accordion effect really working here. As look at this, Aguilar trying to get a bit of a breakaway, pulls a half second over Nick Peterson. Peterson in second, Micah Barnett in third. Gonna try and pull their way back to the race leader, Aguilar. They know if he can get out there up front and enjoy that clean air, he may be able to check out. That's the last thing these drivers want. Aguilar looking for that breakaway that may just not happen for him. Now they have put a bit of a gap on Beaver and Ziegler running 4th and 5th, making it what appears to be a 3-car battle for the lead. But Beaver and Ziegler again running 4th and 5th. They know if these top 3 drivers start to go elbows out at all, it's going to slow down the pace ever so slightly, give them another chance at it. As now it's going to be a 2-car breakaway. Raymond Aguilar holds about a 4/10 advantage over Nick Peterson. Peterson's pulled 1.1 seconds over Nick Beaver. Something must have happened here as Micah Barnett falls back to 5th. The landscape of the top 5 continues to change. Now Beaver has the fastest lap of the race in that number 10 machine, a 1:52.84. But we've got big problems somewhere on the track. Michael Scott has bent it. Taking a replay to see what happened. Loops it around and gets a little bit of help. And unfortunately, you can see just how destroyed that car is. Not even pointing remotely the same direction, so he's going to have to take a tow back to pit road. And unfortunately, his feature event will be done here. Going a little bit further back, you've got a battle for 4th between Micah Barnett, Jared Ziegler. Barnett in the 59, Ziegler on the 57. Now this time by, it's going to be Aguilar with a 1:52.67. He's got the fastest lap, but what happened to Norman King? Had a bit of a crash, not seeing any damage on the Mustard Seed Racing number 28 machine, and he's going to be tucked in right behind the Aussie Gareth McAllister. Ooh. Looked like King overshot it a bit there, but absolutely reels in McAllister. Almost wonder if King got a slowdown there. It doesn't look like he did. I think Levi Opitz off track ahead of him, the number 7. Yes, it is. So McAllister will make his way around Opitz. And then what happened to King? Either missed his mark. Oh no, Norman. Let's see what happened here. Almost looked like a hardware failure, but I think King might have just missed his mark there and just plowed off track. We're going back up front. It's still Raymond Aguilar. Nick Peterson running first and second. 2/10 separate the two as Peterson takes a look to the inside line of Aguilar. And behind them, that's Micah Barnett, Nick Beaver. And looks like Jared Ziegler is going to join the fray as well for the three-car battle for third. Now, right now, the hard charger out on track is Felipe Ramos in the 73 machine. Felipe has gained 7 positions so far tonight, worked his way up into 13. Probably running about 1.1 seconds behind Felipe Garcia in 12th. As we pan back to the three-car battle for third, it's Barnett, Beaver, Ziegler, all within striking distance here, only 6 laps in. Now this is a one-stop planned race for our competitors. Now, something that's been interesting in this season compared to seasons past here at League Zero is the tire wear really becoming a factor for these drivers with the new model that's been installed into iRacing. Over the course of the feature event, drivers will state that the car gets very, very loose, very slippery to hold on to, but let's go back out up front. As Aguilar and Peterson still going at it here. Aguilar driving the wheels off that 72 machine. Peterson looking for any way through that he can in the 24. Wheel to wheel they go. Both drivers trying some high-low maneuvers. Now this is going to allow Barnett, Beaver, and Ziegler running third, fourth, and fifth. Maybe a bit of an opportunity to catch up to these race leaders as very soon there will be traffic ahead. In the form of, I believe, yeah, it's going to be Levi Opitz in the infield. Unfortunately, Opitz takes the tow back to pit road. He's done and out for the night, or at least for the feature event. Now, as expected, you can see how much the top 5, the top 4, I should more aptly say, has shrunk the gap here. Ziegler lags in the background there in the 57 machine. But every time Peterson takes a lunge at Aguilar, it's going to slow down the pace ever so slightly. Beaver, the 4th car in line, still trying to stay linked up with Micah Barnett's 59. Barnett currently about 4/10 behind Peterson. Peterson about a half second back from Aguilar. As Barnett clicks off the fastest lap so far, a 152.62 clean with no off tracks here. In that third place spot, Barnett, a bit of a newcomer here to League Zero, coming in strong though. Showing he's got what it takes to run with some of the previous season winners, if not race winners, such as Aguilar and Peterson, who've always been very, very quick. Good to see Peterson really coming into form here tonight in the 24. Qualified on pole, still running a very strong second. Now the question is, will Peterson be able to close that gap back to Aguilar? As all of our drivers have very much extended the track here at Silverstone, trying to get a little bit more drive out of it. But now I think Peterson's going to have his hands full. Here comes Micah Barnett in the 59 machine. Has closed the gap and put a little bit of a distance on Nick Beaver in fourth. But again, Barnett set the fastest lap of the race just one lap prior. Oh, takes a look at the inside line of Peterson. Peterson gets good drive out of the corner though. And this is going to bode well for Aguilar. As interesting enough, Antonio Bianchi will be one of the first drivers down pit road for a green flag stop. Stephen Hill has issues. He's off track. And the number 86 machine still up 7 positions from where he started. But now the fuel window is open. I would imagine Aguilar, who has clean track ahead of him, is going to try and stretch that gap as far as he possibly can. As Peterson will have his hands full with the likes of both Micah Barnett and Nick Beaver. I think Aguilar had a bit of a bobble, though. The gap closes to Peterson in second. It was down to a half second. Aguilar picks up another 10th, but I think Peterson knows, hey, we can't let that 72 machine get too far away from us here, as he puts his head down and charges back forward. So I think the strategy is going to be here, if Aguilar thinks he has the pace to keep charging forward. And speaking of pace, yes, Aguilar clicks off the fastest clean lap of the race on 152.5. And again, it's important to note the fastest clean lap of the race is what we're going to count on our live time and scoring tower on the left side of your screen, meaning no off tracks, no incidents. So Aguilar is going to hold it with that 152.5. Faster than everyone else. Now, last time by, Peterson was a 152.16, but not a clean lap, so he must have had an off track somewhere in there. As things are getting exciting here for the battle for third, Beaver has made a pass on Barnett. Again, fuel window is open for these drivers. We expect it's going to close lap 12 or 13. And Peterson. Oh, no, I thought he was going to come down pit road, but just a heavy blink on the number 24, losing a bit of connection there. Not sure if Aguilar expected this much pressure from behind out of the number 24. Now, we knew Peterson was fast qualifying in that top spot, but not sure if anybody expected him to be battling so fiercely with Aguilar, who's historically been extremely fast. And keep an eye on that battle for third, as well as I think, yes, Beaver's going to come down pit road for his one and only stop, planned stop. As Aguilar and Peterson still linked up nose to tail down the start-finish line stretch. Hashim Hamoud also coming down pit road, the number 21. He was running about 7th or 8th before this pit cycle started. A large portion of the drivers really at this point, everybody inside the top 8 has yet to come down pit road. Opting to stretch it out for a little bit longer if they can. Oh, but we've got problems with Franchicha. Off track, let's see what happened to the 98 machine. Looks like it's going to be a solo car incident. Just misses the turn-in point, and around goes the 98. Thankfully, keeps it off the wall. No damage, is able to rejoin the circuit rather quickly. We've got a battle for 5th shaping up as well. Chase Small, number 5. Peter Redger in the 44 machine, as well as Michael Fairchild in the 88, about to have a 3-car. But what happened here? Antonio Bianchi shows with another incident. What happened to Bianchi? The open wheel pro, that car looks a little bit out of sorts there. And just around he goes, looping it out, so not quite sure what's happening, but not good, as now Fairchild picks up the spot from Peter Rettinger. Chase Small, Peter Redger both come down pit road together, but what's going on up front? Peterson and Aguilar battling for the race lead here. Peterson looks to have it. Nobody inside the top 5's come down pit road yet. What's going on with Aguilar? Drops off the pace slightly, now about 3/10 behind Peterson. And Peterson will get his first lap led here if he can hold on to it from the defending champion, Raymond Aguilar. Aguilar in absolute hot pursuit of that number 24 machine. Same as we saw when the roles were reversed, not wanting that race leader to take too much advantage of the clean air in front. Now Aguilar in that 72 taking over the race lead once more from Peterson. He won the opening round at Barcelona. Did not have the same luck last week, whereas Jared Ziegler picking up the win in the feature and Nick Beaver picking up the win in the sprint. But don't count out that number 10 of Beaver quite yet. He came down pit road on lap 10, going for a bit of an undercut right at the halfway mark, as again, your top 6 drivers have yet to come down pit road here. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out on strategy, because it's Aguilar, Peterson, Barnett, all in the mix, running 1, 2, 3. And Ziegler running 4th out on track is your points leader, holding about a 15-point advantage over Raymond Aguilar in the 72. Now it looks to me, I don't think Aguilar was actually here last week. No, he was not. Ran the season opener, missed last week, so still in the points chase despite missing that second round of the season. And keep an eye out. Here comes Michael Barnett in the 59 machine, closing the gap to the top two drivers as well. I can't help but wonder who's going to be the first of these three drivers down pit road. We've seen Aguilar coming down pit road before, sputtering on fuel. Surely he won't make that same mistake again this season. As Aguilar and Peterson come down pit road in tandem, Barnett stays out. I believe he'll get the credit for the lap led here. No, with how the pit cycle is set up, technically Aguilar gets credit for leading the lap. Jared Ziegler will cycle up to second as Michael Fairchild comes down pit road. So surely we'll see Barnett and Ziegler come down pit road on this lap. They've got to be getting close on fuel. As Barnett clicked off his fastest lap of the race, that time by a 1:52.51. 100th of a second slower than Raymond Aguilar's best lap time. So both drivers very, very equal on pace here. So let's see, is Barnett and Jared Ziegler running first and second. Going to come down pit road this time by. They've got to be running close on fuel here. Barnett holding about a 5-second advantage over Jared Ziegler's 57 machine. The Chicken House back, number 59, not having any issues. There we go. Barnett's going to come down pit road. Let's pan the camera back to Jared Ziegler. Will he follow suit? Yes, he will. So the million-dollar question, how will this shape out as Raymond Aguilar still has Nick Peterson within the tow, 1 second back in the 72 machine? Where will Barnett and Ziegler come out on track compared to the 72? Yeah, not quite yet. Now they're just now hitting their pit stall. Xavier Zanave comes down pit road. Barnett out of his stall in 4.83 seconds. Ziegler 4.95. And it's going to put Aguilar back as your race leader. But look at this. Oh, there's all sorts of smoke there. Not sure what happened maybe between Barnett and Peterson. So as the green flag stops are done, Barnett will have a bit of an advantage coming out one spot higher. Now running second behind Aguilar, just ahead of Peterson, but I don't think Peterson's going to let him go easy here. As Peterson, number 24, absolutely breathing down the neck of Micah Barnett. Now, Peterson, I don't believe Taking a look at it here, trying to see his results from last week. They're a little convoluted, but right now he's focusing on second. Looks to the inside line of Barnett. Barnett quickly fires back, and he'll defend the inside line. Oh, look at the side-by-side action between Barnett and Peterson here. Aguilar has to be happy with this heavy racing going on behind him, allowing him to enjoy that clean air with only 4 laps left. Oh, we've got big problems going on towards the back. Xavier Zanave and I think Jared Ziegler. Were they intertwined together somehow? There goes Zanave. And where was Jared Ziegler in this? Was it a separate incident, I wonder? Yes, it was. Both drivers just looping it out by themselves. As it's shaping up to be a 3-car battle for second. It's Micah Barnett in second, Nick Peterson and Nick Beaver running third and fourth here. Here comes Peterson. Look at the inside line once more. Barnett chops the nose off. That's going to allow Beaver a chance to get just a little bit closer in that number 10 machine. Now, I'm very impressed with how aggressively these guys have been able to bend out there wheeling these Formula 3 machines. And so far, very polite driving between all the drivers, and Beaver does click off the fastest lap, a 1:52.41, finding just about a 10th faster than Aguilar or Barnett have been able to do so far tonight, using that draft to his advantage. But no, right as we say that, Barnett has problems. Was it another self-inflicted spin here at Silverstone? Let's take a look. Oh, very odd crash. Looked like he started to skate away from him and just couldn't catch it. That's going to put Peterson and Beaver now up to second and third, 2.2 seconds back from your race leader, Raymond Aguilar. As it looks like Peterson putting a bit of a gap on Beaver. Now 6/10 separate the second and third place driver. Let's go a little bit further back to Canadians. Antonio Bianchi, Hashim Hamoud battling now for 9th. And it looks like they're also gaining some ground on Michael Fairchild in the 88. That's Fairchild in the bright pink 88, Bianchi in the very blue number 17 machine. And look at that ticker on the left side of your screen. Aguilar with a 1:52.199 has found some pace here late in the race at Silverstone, smashing the lap record, a clean lap as well, mind you. There's Chase Small, Jared Ziegler. Small's up 4 spots from where he started. Ziegler up 2, despite that little bit of a self-spin. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Ziegler. Able to catch that back in from coming around on him, but it was a little bit close. And we've also got a battle for second unfolding. Peterson and Barnett. Excuse me, Peterson and Beaver. Still dicing it up. Now, all the while, this has allowed Aguilar to pull a very healthy 3-second advantage. Now, if Peterson and Beaver want some sort of chance to catch up to Aguilar, surely they know they can't be battling too intently here. Got to link up nose to tail, work the draft to see if they can whittle away to that 72 machine out front, but that's a big ask as Aguilar, once he gets in clean air, can kind of check out. And doesn't look like Peterson and Beaver can be doing any sort of linking up here as they continue going side by side around the circuit. I thought it was going to be Beaver there, but had to check up to avoid plowing into Peterson. Peterson will hold on to that second place spot, but Beaver's trying to work his way back around that number 10. A little bit of smoke there. Not sure if that was from Peterson's front left or not. You can see Aguilar, that's what about a 4-second gap looks like ahead of the second and third place drivers. Look at this, Beaver trying the outside line. Maybe trying to get a bit of a run built up to make something happen over Peterson's 24 machine. The white flag will be out at the end of this lap. Now the question is, does Beaver have something left in the back pocket? Has he been taking this time maybe to measure up Peterson, see what the strengths and weaknesses are out of that 24 machine? And not wanting to tip his hands too early. White flag is out for Raymond Aguilar, your race leader, 4.1 seconds ahead of the battle for second. And Aguilar once again a fast lap, dropping it all the way down to a 1:52.06 here at Silverstone. Will Beaver have anything left to fire back onto Peterson? Beaver currently third in points behind Jared Ziegler, as well as Raymond Aguilar. Surely knows he's still in a good points position. But will we see a last-ditch effort from that number 10 machine to try and work his way just a little bit higher up onto the podium, or is he going to play it safe here and just score some much-needed points? Now, it looks to me like Beaver missed the season opener at Barcelona, running last week and having a great result, winning the feature and getting a third in the sprint, so back-to-back podiums in his debut. And as we all know, that's what wins championships, is just consistently getting up front and minimizing those bad days at the racetrack. But here we go, Raymond Aguilar is going to pick up another win here at League Zero for Season 4. Welcome back, Raymond Aguilar, to the top spot. And it's going to be Nick Peterson and Beaver rounding out the podium. Peterson second and Nick Beaver third. All right, we're going to wait a brief moment, try and get these top three drivers up here in the victory lane. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with your top three interviews of our feature event. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We get our top three drivers up here in the victory lane. Up first, we're going to get Nick Beaver in the number 10 machine. Nick, making it back-to-back weekends up here in the top three. Got to be pretty pumped with how things are going so far for you so far this season.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Joining the league second race in, and I never thought that the F3 was one of my strong suits, but I think consistency is playing out. This car is a ton of fun.
Now, Nick, coming out here with a lot of guys that have kind of gotten used to bumping elbows with each other and getting thrown right in the deep end on the pointy end of the field. How does it feel to be up there with some of the guys that consistently run together? They kind of know what they can get away with, how hard to push, and as a newcomer, you don't quite know the names and faces yet when you're out there on track.
Yeah, exactly. And I was being super cautious with some of the side by side I was doing because starting so fresh, I don't want to make rivals right away. I want to kind of make friends with everyone, but it also helps to run behind the fast guys and see what they're doing. I think I learned a lot in that race, so that'll be fun to apply to the second one.
Now, Nick, you picked up the win last week in the sprint race. What was your thoughts having to cut through the field for the first time and come home on the top spot?
Um, it was spooky, but it was fun. I love racing through the field. I love racing around traffic. It's not as fun hot lapping, right? So it's nice to learn how to race these cars and predict what other people are going to do. It really helps racecraft, and I think going forward, this is a really good league to learn how to race this car.
Well, Nick, we're glad to have you. Good to have you up here inside the top three. Wish you the best of luck in the sprint race. Anybody want to give a quick shout out to that help make tonight happen?
Well, a lot of shout out to me. Just kidding. A little bit of practice. I got some folks watching, Charles and Brandon, so a shout out to them. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Welcome back, and hope to see you do well in the sprint race, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That was Nick Beaver bringing home a third. Up next, we've got Nick Peterson bringing home a hard-fought second. Nick, great race. Qualified on pole, finished second behind Aguilar, and a relatively clean race all the way through.
Yeah, I thought I had it this race. I was really gunning for first.
Now,
I had the pace in qualifying.
Yeah, you definitely did. It seemed like just everybody inside the top five got a lot faster as the run progressed and ended up being kind of one of those feature events of who made the least amount of mistakes. I mean, is there anything you could have done differently in that race from now that you're finished and kind of reflecting on it?
I kept battling on the back half of of the track. I kept losing time. Nick caught up to me, and then I think if I had a better pit stop, I could have battled Raymond a bit more.
That being said, you know who your targets are coming into the sprint race. Any change of strategy, change of plans going into this sprint?
I think just play it safe. The first couple laps are really loose in this car, and the tires are rough, so I just try and make it through.
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to it, Nick. Always a lot of fun watching you drive, my friend. Anybody want to give a quick shout out to before we get you ready for this sprint race?
I'd like to give a shout out to my roommate Ernie for having a birthday today, and then my fiance Laura for always cheering me on.
Well, awesome, Nick. Good luck out there, my friend. Always a great time talking to you, and looking forward to what's going to happen.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Nick Peterson bringing home the second place. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Raymond Aguilar in the top spot. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your week off last week, and what a way to come back from a mini vacation.
Yeah, I thought I'd lost the magic touch, and it appears I can somehow pull something out of the bag.
Now, Raymond, starting in last season and really carried over this season, we're seeing drivers talk more and more about tire wear on these machines and how hard it's been to really figure it out. And the car really wants to loosen up, get a lot more free as the heat gets into them. How are you feeling that in your 72 machine, and does that change strategy at all here for League Zero?
For sure. You used to be able to just kind of thrash this car and do whatever you want, and it, rarely would it bite you like that. And despite iRacing saying they haven't changed anything, there's something definitely different. I don't know what it is, but as you're out there, as the stint progresses, you get a good couple 5-6 laps, and then they start to fade. And if you overheat them, then they're done for the rest of the race. Might even bring in some tire changes coming up. Who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see with the feature events. But going into the sprint race tonight, is that even remotely a concern for you guys with half the laps, or are you able just to pretty much hammer them for the entire 10-lap sprint and not have to worry too much about it?
Yeah, I think so. So normally you can just be super aggressive on the opening stages of the sprint race, but in this scenario, if you do spike the temps early on, you're paying for it the rest of the race. So if you're trying to charge through the field or get up there, I don't know. I think my teammate Chase Small, I think he's probably going to do well. I told him, 6th is the perfect spot, and he's right there in the middle. He's going to start in 6th, and he's going to. I'm hoping we're going to see a win if there's no team orders tonight.
Well, awesome. Yeah, too early in the season for team orders, so looking forward to some great racing, Raymond. As always, a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully do well in the sprint race. You want to give a quick shout out to before we let you get back out on track?
The big one, I don't think I was going to be ready for this race, but when I was gone last weekend, I happened to get a 9 out of 10 burrito from Andale Taqueria in Minnesota. I hit that up, and for some reason, that has given me the testosterone needed to compete at this level.
Well, awesome. Glad the burritos and the testosterone working out well for you. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll have you up here again after the sprint race tonight.
Yeah, I hope to. Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Raymond Aguilar bringing it home as your race winner for the feature event. We've got about 2.5 minutes to go before our final sprint race of the evening, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with even more action. right, race fans, you know what time it is. Time for the action-packed sprint race. Half the laps and twice the aggressiveness out of these drivers. And again, the top 12 inverted on the grid. So that's going to put Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie, in the top spot. Felipe Garcia starts second. Xavier Zanave starting Felipe Garcia starts second. Xavier Zanave starting third. Hashem Hamoud starts fourth. Michael Fairchild starting fifth. Jared Ziegler starts sixth. Peter Rettinger starts sixth. Jared Ziegler starts sixth. Peter Rettinger starting seventh. Chase Small starting eighth. Micah Barnett starts ninth. Nick Beaver starting 10th. And Nick Peterson starting 11th. And then Raymond Aguilar will start 12th with that inverted top 12. Looks like Micah Barnett will be a did not start for this one, as well as Opitz, Scott, and Tamiri. And away they go with McAllister out front. With a spectacular launch, might I add. And the field's going to stack up slightly behind, Felipe Garcia. As things are getting a little bit heated here, some of the drivers that finish in the top spot start cutting their way through the field. There's Chase Small, Jared Ziegler side by side. Oh, as we get a little bit three-wide action there. I think that was Zanave. No, that was Ziegler, Small. I think that was Zanave. Oh, no, around goes Small in the number 5 machine. You heard his teammate Aguilar talking great things about him, and I wonder if Aguilar was involved in that, as he has fallen back ever so slightly. Nick Beaver has moved up to 7th. As he gets ready to try and put his head down against Michael Fairchild, Xavier Zanave just ahead of him. Now this is tough in the sprint race. You have half the laps to try and make up all those times. As looks like Fairchild almost hops out of the way there for Aguilar and Beaver. And here we go, the battle we've been looking for. Aguilar side by side with Beaver. Aguilar takes over the 6th place spot. Beaver right behind. Aguilar known for his aggressiveness here in the sprint races. But I think Beaver's in a really good spot, able to tuck in behind somebody like Aguilar who wins so consistently. Take some notes, jot down what Aguilar and the 72 machine's doing, and see what he can learn here. Now going a little bit farther ahead, Jared Ziegler is working his way around Felipe Garcia up into 2nd. And that's what a 1 second advantage looks like to the favor of Gareth McAllister out front, number 25 machine. McAllister with that clean track ahead of him in a good spot here. Just to put his head down, keep clicking off laps, see what he can do. As we got problems with Franchicha off track. Hamoud also off track as well. I don't think those two are related. And we're about to have a battle for 4th as that Xavier Zanave, Raymond Aguilar, Nick Beaver working their way up through the field. Now Zanave down 1 spot from where he started. Aguilar's up 7. Beaver up 4 spots already tonight. Only 10 total laps to make stuff happen here. Looks like Opitz is going to join the raceway a lap down, starting late, missed the grid somehow. But oh, we've got problems. Jared Ziegler involved in an incident, pulls out on track right in front of Bianchi. There was contact between the two. Let's see what happened to Ziegler. Oh, a little bit hard on the brakes there, I think, behind Aguilar, but watch this. Things get a little bit exciting very, very quickly. And look at this. Ziegler throws it back out on track. Let's see if we can get a good angle. Yeah, Bianchi just, oh, does he get into him? It may have been ever so slightly. So now McAllister is going to have a 3-second lead here. A little bit further back, though, things are getting mighty heated from 3rd to about 7th place. You've got Zanave, Beaver, Garcia, Peterson, Rettinger, Bianchi all in the fray. And this is what we talk about with all the action here at the League Zero sprint races. Everybody pushing hard early on. Right now, the fastest lap belongs to Beaver, the number 10, 154.24. As up ahead of them, you can see Beaver putting the pressure on Zanave for that 3rd place spot. And you heard our top 3 drivers talking about how important tire management is, even in the sprint races. With just about everybody in the top 3 saying if you overheat these tires, you have a long, long race ahead of you. McAllister clicks off his fastest lap of the race on 153.62. Aguilar answers with a 153.55, but way back in 11th. Don Kasai with a 153.2, the fastest lap of the race so far here tonight. Oh, Peterson tries to make a move on Garcia. Garcia had a bit of a lockup. Tristan Van Bogart cheering for McAllister. The great Aussie, I believe, still looking for his first win here. Right now, our camera panned on the battle for 5th place back. It's Peterson and Garcia nose to tail. You've also got Bianchi and Ziegler in the fray here. Those two had a little bit of contact early on. As Bianchi makes the pass up into the 6th place spot, Garcia tucks in behind him. Ziegler looking for a way through in the 57. The $1 million question, can Gareth McAllister hold on to a 2.2 second lead with 6 laps left to go? Aguilar would need to be about 0.4 faster than McAllister for the next few laps to close that advantage. But that advantage is closing as Aguilar clicked off a 152.57 last time by. Beaver answered with a 152.32. Meanwhile, McAllister's clicking off 153s. I think McAllister's best chance here is if Aguilar finds his hands full with the likes of Beaver, the newcomer in the number 10 machine. That could slow down the pace ever so slightly and give McAllister the breakaway he will so desperately need here. A little bit further back, another heated battle. Peter Rettinger trying to work around Garcia, looking up to the inside line. It's the Austrian versus the Brazilian. Look how tight Rettinger cut in the corner there, trying to make the track just a little bit smaller, get a little bit more pace out of it. Meanwhile, a little bit further ahead, Beavers closed the gap to Aguilar in the battle for second, now down to 4/10 between the two. Both Aguilar and Beaver do have wins so far this season. McAllister still looking for his first, as the gap has rapidly closed to 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds, 1 second between McAllister and Aguilar. One second now separating your top three drivers. McAllister lost about a half second on that last lap, and things are about to get interesting. Now Aguilar immediately pressuring McAllister here for the lead. Looks like Beaver hanging back ever so slightly. Maybe waiting to see how this battle's going to unfold. Now it's a bit of a risky move. On one hand, Aguilar can put himself in a dangerous spot. On the other hand, if Aguilar's able to quickly get around McAllister, may be able to check out here with only 4 laps left to go. It's going to be 3 this time by. We know how absolutely lethal Aguilar can be with the clean air in front of him. McAllister's going to be feeling a lot of pressure here. Oh, there goes Aguilar, looks to the inside line. McAllister says, no, sir, not today. I want another lap led here. McAllister, one of those drivers who's gotten so much faster as his career continues. And now it's about 3/4 separating these top 3 drivers. 3 laps left to go. Aguilar hanging it out, looking for a way around the Aussie. Knowing if the pace gets slowed down too much, so you've got guys such as Peterson, such as Beyonce running 4th and 5th that will have no problems closing the gap and taking advantage of the situation if that opportunity presents itself. Look how close they are, your top 3. Aguilar looks to the inside line against McAllister. McAllister goes wide. Will Beaver try and follow suit? Oh, McAllister way too wide. Has to tighten it up aggressively. Here comes Beaver looking around the outside line. Not going to be able to make it stick. So it's going to be a drag race between 2nd and 3rd here as they cross the line. Cross the halfway mark. Aguilar out front. Beaver's going to try and get around McAllister as quick as he can because Aguilar's already pulled about a 6/10 gap. Now, it's been all the way back April 28th that McAllister had his last podium here, a 2nd place at Suzuka. And I think he's going to fight tooth and nail here. As I say that, no, Beaver makes his way around. So Aguilar looking good here, might be able to check out. He's got about almost a 2-second advantage, 1.7 seconds over Nick Beaver. As it stands, it's Aguilar, Beaver, McAllister, your top 3. Peterson and Bianchi rounding out the top 5. Aguilar 1.5 seconds up from Nick Beaver. Now Peterson's closing the gap as well to McAllister in third. He wants a podium finish here tonight. And the number 25 of McAllister standing in his way. Let's go a little bit further back to the battle for fifth. Bianchi and Ziegler right there with each other once more. Bianchi running fifth, Ziegler running sixth. 4/10 separating the two drivers. They've got about 3/4 of a second over Garcia, who's got Zanave and Renger in tow as well. The field's still fairly bunched up together. As here we go, the battle for third about to unfold. Peterson charging forward has closed the gap to 2/10 less than to McAllister. Peterson with a gutsy move to the inside line. McAllister able to get set up for the next corner and defend. And Peterson looks like he's going to make it work in the outside line here against the young Australian driver to take over the third place spot. McAllister looks to fire back on the inside line. But I don't think quite enough. Peterson able to defend that third place spot. So now it'll be Aguilar, Beaver, Peterson, your top three. White flag will be out this time by Will McAllister fire back against the 24. Drivers on the ragged edge here, but it looks like McAllister has a bit of a bobble through the chicane as Peterson now pulls about a 6/10 of a second advantage. Garcia has caught the back of Bianchi and Ziegler, who are in their own battle for fifth. Garcia takes a peek the inside line. The outside line, as Ziegler defends, so not quite able to make it happen. That may give Bianchi a chance to breathe here as Garcia and Ziegler continue going wheel to wheel. White flag is out for Raymond Aguilar. Peter Renger has problems. Showing involved in a crash. Looks like he's still pointing the right direction though. Aguilar, your race leader, still 1.2 seconds up from Nick Beaver. Looking to make it back-to-back here tonight. I've got to say, Aguilar and Beaver very, very close on pace. I think once Beaver has the amount of aggressiveness he needs dialed in, I would definitely say keep an eye on that number 10 machine, who is going to be quite a contender as this season progresses. If Aguilar is able to hold it together here, we're going to have to ask him about that in the podium interview. Checkered flag is out, and Raymond Aguilar is going to make it back-to-back here tonight. Beaver will round out or finish second, and Peterson will round out the top three. What a great race amongst all these guys. And a very, very clean sprint race. And Aguilar gonna burn it down in style. A well-deserved win here. A little burnout shenanigans there by Aguilar. We're trying to get these top 3 drivers up and in the waiting room. It looks like we're starting to get them all ready. Up first, we'll be accompanied by Nick Peterson, bringing home a third in the number 24 machine. Nick, a great night, a very consistent night, and a great points night by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, I needed it. Last week I blue screened out and I was in third. What
Yeah.
should have been third.
Yeah, I was looking at the results and saw you kind of drop off there. So with the bad week last week, I would say it's a fantastic recovery for the championship hopes, at least.
Yeah, the anger towards Antonio for finishing that last race and passing me in points just prevailed tonight.
Well, good. Driving a little bit of red mist seemed like it worked out well for you, and able to make clean passes towards the tail end of that race. Were you feeling rushed or worried at all, or are you just keeping your head down and clicking off laps here?
I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to catch the pack and Raymond and Nick and Gareth, but once I passed Xavier, it was just lights out. I was pushing so hard.
Well, glad to see you coming back out, finishing great here in third. Again, a fantastic night all the way around. And for your final time this evening, who do you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give you a shout out, James. You're just killing it.
Thank you, man. Try not to die up here with a bit of a cough, but you guys made the action really enjoyable, a lot of fun, and hope to see you back up here next week, my friend.
Thanks.
That was Nick Peterson bringing home the third. Up next, Nick Beaver back up into the podium room. What a great night, Nick. A strong finish, and again, more and more points getting racked up to the number 10 machine.
Yeah, I'll take it. That was more fun than the first one. Yeah, God, what a race.
So, Nick, now that some of the other very fast drivers are making their way out for the sprint races, and I know last week you were able to bring it home on top, is there any plans of strategy or any thoughts you have after that sprint race and seeing Aguilar catch that clean air in front of you?
Well, it's good to know kind of the pace that everyone else is running. I think going forward, I'll put more time into maybe practicing in a field with AI or something. Racing in traffic is such an art, and I think Raymond nailed it, obviously coming first both times. But yeah, getting through traffic and then knowing how to run in clean air too is pretty powerful.
Yeah, it seems like the pace was there tonight, just maybe didn't make the moves early enough in the race to maybe battle for Aguilar, but I think both of you guys are almost equal on pace, so I'm personally very excited to see how the season's going to go for you guys. I'm expecting a lot of great action between the two of you.
And I'm looking forward to that as well. I think tight competition always leads to obviously a great show, but it's so fun on this end too. When you're behind the wheel and you're racing wheel to wheel, it's such a blast.
Very well said, Nick. And for the final time tonight, who do you want to give a quick shout to that help make this evening possible for you?
Well, I was requested to thank Charles and Brandon one more time. So guys, thanks for watching. And that's about it. So thank you for putting on the show tonight. It's been a blast. And I look forward to talking to you again in the podium booth.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it as well, Nick. Congratulations, and we'll hopefully see you up here next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That was Nick Beaver bringing home a second. But up next, our old-time friend Raymond Aguilar making it back-to-back here in the 72. Raymond, can you ask for a better evening, my friend?
No, man, it went fantastic. It went swimmingly. Outside of hitting my teammate when he was coming back on the track, but
yeah, we saw that. But poor Chase.
Yeah.
So we have the commentator's curse. What do you call it when it's the teammate curse? When you say something very positive about your co-driver and it suddenly willed the other way.
I know it seems like every time I do something like that, it's a jinx that comes out. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut from now on and hope that he does well on his own.
Well, I don't believe it, but it's always a good time watching you guys out on track. And Aguilar, was something we were kind of talking about in the broadcast. It looks like the talent getting a little bit deeper here this season. We've got more and more guys running on the same pace as you. I mean, Peterson was extremely fast in qualifying the top spot, had the great race pace in the feature. The sprint race, Beaver and yourself were clicking off almost identical lap times. So how do you think that's going to bode for the rest of the season now that we're starting to see more and more guys battling up front?
Not well for my finishes, but it should be mega fun. I can tell you that just from the short time I've been out there with like Beaver, there's another one. I'm skipping on the name with the M. Anyway, there's two or three new guys that showed up that have made this fun again, and I'm super glad they're here. It's gonna be fun competition, and I'll probably get my tail beat a few times.
Well, as long as it's entertaining, that's all that we're looking for. This race definitely was. You made some quick passes early on. I think that really bode well for your finish here tonight. I mean, I know you've always been fairly aggressive but safe in the sprint race, and I'm assuming there's no change planned on that strategy. Am I correct there?
Tron, homie. I'm just in fact I've decided now I'm gonna get more aggressive on these starts because it was a point where it came up where it may not even catch Gareth because he had such a lead. And so if you don't, it's not just about passing people. If you don't get caught up to the leaders in the beginning, you're gonna get left.
Now, next week, correct me if I'm wrong, we've switched from Barber Motorsports Park to Road America. Is that still correct?
Yeah, the stewards in this league have made an error and changed it from Barber to Road America. So next week you'll see us zipping around doing 90 right, 90 right, 90 right over and over.
Well, I actually tend to agree with you. Barber's a couple hours from me, so I was looking forward to seeing you guys run that. But hopefully, Road America will be entertaining. I'm guessing that's not a track you're personally in love with, judging by your comment.
No, I think and what it comes down to is there's too much money injected into this league, and so there's too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen making decisions, and unfortunately, the guy that runs it just doesn't have the cojones to stick by his choices and stick with Barber. But so we've skimped out and went to Road America instead.
Well, I'll have the travel bags ready for that one. Raymond, a great job tonight, my friend. Back-to-back finishes, a fantastic result, especially points-wise, having to miss last week. And you've got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the evening. Who you want to give a shout-out to?
All the new guys that are making this fun, and my teammate, Track Limit Racing, my new manager, got a new one of those, had to fire the last three, and little Debbie. Again, we're back to the Christmas tree cake, so we're good to go.
Awesome, Raymond. Always a good time talking to you, buddy. Congratulations, and hope to see you back up here next week.
Yep, thanks so much, James.
And that was Raymond Aguilar finishing on the top spot of the sprint race here tonight, making it back-to-back. He was accompanied by Nick Beaver in second and Nick Peterson rounding out the top three. As always, on behalf of LeagueZero.net as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the league, supporting the broadcast, and supporting your favorite virtual drivers week in and week out. I look forward to having you all back same time, same place next week. You have a great night, everybody.